There we have Sam Pearson. His runner-up finish at YCS Ghent back in the day also kind of secured him a spot in the World's Qualifier playoff on Friday. Sadly, he couldn't make his way into the top 3 there, but he has another shot of qualifying for the World Championship here in the main event, and he's doing pretty good so far, being 5-0, so let's see what he can do here.
He's playing the same deck that he did on Friday.
Indeed, I think on Friday he was the only Bestial Dragon Link player, but the deck is a lot more popular in the main event, I want to say.
Oh, and he has a really, really good hand. Look at this Black Metal Dragon, of course, as a perfect start, but he also has Chaos Space and Serenir in hand. This is almost ridiculous.
You couldn't ask for much more. Stefan says, yes, that's fine. My heroes can't do anything heroic about that. And look at Sam grabbing out the Red's Darkness Metal Dragon and the Boot Sector launch at once.
Immediate +2.
Yep, kind of nice.
This feels like a matchup straight from, the show. This is dragons versus heroes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Night Shroud, if anyone remembers.
Which one is Night Shroud? GX?
Yeah, GX versus Jaden, the first Shadow Rider.
So, and now it's even better because we could discard Saronir for the Chaos Space, enabling us to also bring the Bestial Lubellion from the deck to the graveyard.
That's already another valuable resource. Now we can banish these Striker Dragons, summon out the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Of course, anytime you want, you can put that Striker Dragon back to the extra deck to draw another card with the Chaos Space. However, sometimes you would prefer to use some of the little dragons.
Yeah, very nice interaction. Even though the little dragons are limited to 1 copy each, you can just put 1 back. And the extra dragon is a bit like you've got, well, 2 of one and 1 of the other, which is great because you can just keep adding more and more free cards from your deck to your hand.
Yeah, so in the beginning, usually what you would activate with the Bestial Lubellion was the Branded Beast, but now looking for his deck list, it doesn't even seem like he is playing Branded Beast, and therefore the only card he can activate is also the card he just activated, and it's Branded Regained.
Oh, that's really interesting. I've seen Branded Beast in basically every single...
It was pretty popular for sure, but it is
single
not on his list.
Yeah,
I double looked now, I double checked, and it really is not, because I had some oopsies yesterday where I was saying, yeah, he's not playing the Gimmick Puppet, and he ended up playing it actually, but we are not going to see any Gimmick Puppets in here. But Stefan has like his own version of Gimmick Puppet, right? Well, which one are you talking about?
Dragon Ravine, of course.
Oh, that one you mean. Yeah, true. You have some history with that card. Not gonna elaborate any further on that, please. So we have Romulus on the field. Now there is the White Dragon as well. And I think we are very, very shortly going to go for one of the remaining guard dragons. And yes, there he is, Pisty. So Pisty, is he the only one that's still allowed?
Yeah, the first 2 were just way, way, way too good. Pisty is still very, very good.
It is indeed, yeah.
And I suppose using all of them in combination as well.
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy.
Wild times, yeah. So we are still going. We have not even used the Chaos Space effect in Graveyard, which we are just going to do now, because that will allow us to search again with the Black Dragon Collapse Serpent.
What was the name of the Link 2 Guard Dragon again? I mean, we had LP Pisty and...
Acompanhe?
Yes, it was Acompanhe.
That just special summoned out Crystal Ring from
yeah,
the extra deck.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Any dragon, yeah.
So,
really
what do we have
card.
next? There is the Dragon Ravine. I think we do not have access to the Rockets yet, so probably Absolute is the card we're going to be seeing in the graveyard there. Oh, it's not. We actually do go for Staldic Cyphered. And I mean, to be fair, we could summon back the Cyphered with the Pisty, and then Cyphered could use its effect to actually search for the good old Rocket Recharger anyways. Or not the Recharger, rather the Tracer, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Sam presumably knows his deck pretty well by now.
For sure.
If he's willing to take it to a World Championship playoff qualifier.
He has opted to...
And honestly, we have not even talked about the Bestials so far. Bestials are a big part of the current meta game in general, but in this deck, they are just so strong because Bestial Magnamut, which was just summoned, can not only search for Bestials in the end phase, no, it's just any dragon. And when you're playing a deck full of dragons, you can also search your engine. You can search for good old Cyphered, you can search for a pretty powerful card, which is the good old Chaos Dragon Levianeer. There are so many choices for him.
The funniest thing, though, is that most of the time you still search for a Bestial because they're just all so powerful.
Yeah, because they are also like an interruption in theory in the opponent's turn, which is pretty nice.
Plenty of good targets among the hero monsters. I think a lot of lights and darks I mean, Sam doesn't know what he's up against. Yeah, he might think that his deck is cool enough to warrant a feature match by itself, but little does he know
What he is going
what lies
to
in
face.
store, yeah.
There is the boot sector launch. And I think we have enough monsters on the field already that we will be pretty certainly seeing a Borderland Dragon. But first of all, there's going to be the Bestial Disparte, because we were talking about Bestials being cool, and all of them are basically sharing the effect of banishing a Light and Dark from the graveyard to special summon itself. But there is now also an extra deck Bestial monster, and I don't know whether I've ever seen Borderland Dragon being summoned in the main monster zone, to be honest. That's pretty crazy.
Ah, okay, he negated
the Pisty,
I was
yeah.
confused for a second. I was really confused for a second. I thought he pointed at Pisty to use the effect, but there was nothing that two monsters pointed to.
Yeah, it's a very tidy line, this, because you put the Borderland in the main monster zone, and that leaves you room for your Seal to go in the extra monster zone.
This is really, really, really strong. And that is also going to be all that we put up, because as we just saw, Stefan is about to draw for turn. Let's see what he does about all of that. And as Leo already was saying, he just searched for Bestial Druid Swarm. He was like, yep, we are just going for another Bestial here.
What do you guys think of this line, to be honest? Because I don't feel like it's super impressive.
You're talking about the Bestial Dragon
Let's
line?
rate my field time again.
Oh, and look at Sam when he sees that a hero lives. Half of his life points are going to be paid. And look at the bottom card of the deck. There's the original Neos in there. Elemental Hero Neos. Who would have thought that this card is being in a deck that is currently 5-0 at the European Championship?
Yeah, I won't lie,
First
that
it
made
was
me happy.
Dark Magician.
Right.
Now it's Neos.
Yeah, it's all the normal monsters.
What is next?
I mean, we had Lokai as well. Let's not
Yeah,
disregard.
that's true, that's
not
true.
that iconic, but also a European Championship card for sure.
Blue Eyes White Dragon won a World Championship not so long ago.
True.
I think it was just 2 worlds ago. Was it 2018?
Oh, and there's Super Polymerization. This card is so strong versus Dragon Link, because you can actually get rid of that Borderland Dragon, which is incredibly hard to out. But this card does not only out that, but also the Dispater.
Well, I was going to say this now. One of the cool things about Branded Regain is it can bring back any Bestial monster, including the Dispater that was
it's
just
back.
sent.
It's already back. It was so quick.
A very brief stint in the graveyard, didn't it? And then it was like, I'm back.
I mean, still, we got rid of the good old Borderland Dragon. That was pretty important, not gonna lie.
That one's hard to out otherwise. And it didn't use the effect to negate something, so it's pretty neat right here. Right?
So, looks like we're going to use Faris.
Oh, Ferris and Vion are crazy vision heroes. Those are vision heroes, right?
Yeah, those are vision heroes.
So many different types of heroes by now.
Oh, and it looks like Sam now wants to respond to that by using the effect of Bestial Druid Swarm, because there was that Vion being discarded as cost for the Faris, meaning the Vion would have activated on resolve there in the graveyard, but it did not. Wait, that's not Vion, right? That's Shadow Mist.
Shadow Mist, yeah.
Yeah, that Shadow Mist would have activated.
Vion is the normal summon mill that banishes something from the graveyard and then adds polymerization.
Yeah.
Increase basically is a spell card.
That's a very nice spot from Sam there, because it's not always obvious that you can do that and when you can prevent your opponent's
Oh, but there's the Fusion Destiny! And Sam does not like that. He does not like the looks of that. We are going to put that Malicious into the graveyard. And back in the day, it was very common and very usual that you would activate the Fusion Destiny at the end of your turn in all kind of decks. But this is a hero deck, so you could just go on after you activated this card, because all your summoning is heroes anyways.
But you are limited to dark hero monsters.
Okay, fair enough, yeah.
And now we have it. Destiny Hero, Destroyer, Phoenix Enforcer, one of the most powerful hero cards that we have ever seen in this game.
Absolutely.
Next to the actual most powerful hero card, which is Stratos.
Fair
I'm
enough.
gonna maintain.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's Plasma, but you know.
I'm going to
You'll go with Stratos.
as well.
There is Malicious being summoned to the field.
Hurts my soul that you can't make a Beatrice here.
Oh, and there's Mask Change now as well.
Ooh.
Stefan, even though he had almost only engine, of course, Super Poly is pretty cool, but that is...
Oh, and Darklaw. Now I need to check
Darklaw.
the wording on Seal. Do you have to tribute and send it to the graveyard?
No, you
Probably
just
not.
tribute
Huh?
it. Yeah.
You don't have to.
But you at least don't get a special summon after this. Or does it... Wait.
I think it doesn't
No, if
care
this card
about
is
that
tributed,
either.
that's crazy.
So...
Seal is so much better than I thought.
And I mean, we have to basically chain our Phoenix Enforcer here, don't we? Because otherwise that is just going to be bounced back to the extra deck.
Yeah, Seal being a non-targeting removal, really powerful.
Oh, he did. Yeah, okay, we are chaining the Phoenix Enforcer.
But you can't destroy it instantly. There could be a scenario in which Bestial... Okay, no. In which Bestial Disparter negates the Phoenix Enforcer and then it gets bounced. But I think that it is pretty clear that the Bestial Dragonling player wants to get Darklaw off the field.
Yes, for sure. So it is going to be chaining 1 Phoenix Enforcer, chaining 2 Seals, and also chaining 3 Branded Regained, because there was one being banished. You can just draw a card. This card is so strong because the grind game of the Bestial Dragon deck is so incredibly good because of that singular continuous spell card.
We've been talking so much about Arise Heart this weekend and, you know, its powerful kind of floodgate effect, and then Darklaw just popping up saying, "Hi, I'm the original. I'm the original
I'm still
Arise
here.
Heart."
I'm still here.
Still taking cards from hands.
Still banishing cards.
And so now the question is, what do we even do with that Garura and Stratos on the field? Probably not too much. I mean, there is Denier. Ooh. Okay, yeah, we sent that with the Fusion Destiny, so maybe there's something fancy we can do with it.
And there is Malicious now as well, because you put that one to the deck, so that's one of the neat combos of the deck. I think there are some Link monsters of the hero archetype. Maybe some of those are dark as well.
Extra Hero Cross Crusader by any chance?
That is one of them. Extra Hero Cross Crusader is a dark indeed. Infernal Divisor is also dark. So there would be 2 Link 2s that he could summon out.
Divisor is new, right?
The Divisor is from Dual
Absolutely
Overlord.
not, okay.
Cross Crusader is the one I know. It feels a bit like
yeah, it's like the
Jasmine
popular one. Yeah,
from the
And
plant
there
deck,
we have it.
but for heroes.
Oh, you can just special summon something from the graveyard, and there we have the Phoenix Enforcer again.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
That one, can it just pop itself again? I don't think so, right? It
Oh,
can?
is Phoenix Enforcer not... Oh, wait, we tributed it now for the Cross Crusader, didn't we?
Yeah. With a different name from the deck.
Okay, the thing is, the Phoenix Enforcer already activated in the graveyard, so you will be able to special summon it back in the standby phase. And there is the normal summon of Vian. I like how far Stefan is getting here. I did not expect that.
Oh, Shadow Mist now will be able to search something, so the Druids will avoid it. Oh, and that is Ice...
That's Liquid Soldier.
Liquid Soldier, which has ice on the artwork, right? No, not really.
Trying to save yourself here.
Yeah, it didn't work.
But we are able to search for the polymerization, and now the question becomes, what are we fusion summoning into? Because in the extra deck, we're also playing a couple of cards that are completely new, like brand new from Battle of Legends, Monstrous Revenge. The most impressive one there from the extra deck probably is going to be Elemental Hero, Flame Wingman, Infernal Rage.
Yeah, but that one is a wind monster.
That is indeed a wind monster.
I was wondering if we can summon Sunrise, or is that also... that sounds kind of like it should be a light.
Sunrise
it is,
does not sound like
for
a
sure light.
But we always have to read it, though.
Yeah, that is true.
Oh, but that's going to be another Link summon. And now the other one we already talked about is hitting the field, and it's the Extra Hero Infernal Divisor. There are also extra heroes, and there are so many different kind of heroes.
And they all work together.
Oh, and
this
look
card
at
is
that.
Link summoned. You can reveal 1 hero fusion once in your extra deck. If you do add up 2 of the fusion materials listed on that card with different names.
We just revealed the Shining Neos Wingman, searching ourselves the original OG Elemental Hero Neos to our hand.
And nothing else?
It looked like he only searched 1, yeah.
And what do we do with our Neos?
That is the
Looking
question.
cool, right?
That is true, yeah.
He's the coolest man in the entire room right now.
Okay, so now... I have no idea what the judge is talking about right now because I barely understand what is happening on the field. So
they were pointing at Cross Crusader and Garura, so maybe Cross Crusader kind of locks you for the entire turn or something.
Oh, that would be tough.
You can also you cannot special summon monsters a turn. Oh, Cross Crusader actually is one of those cards that also looks before you actually summon the card, and therefore it would not even be possible to summon out Cross Crusader after you use Super Polymerization to summon out the Garura. And I mean, we went quite far after that, didn't we? But it looks like we are trying to rewind the game state here.
And I mean, the problem is you are able to summon the Cross Crusader.
You just can't use either of its effects.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is going to be a very unfortunate situation for Stefan here. We're going to have to put that Neos back in the deck, unfortunately.
I was absolutely sure that if he hard summons Neos with like a double summon and a tribute summon, then he's going to win.
That would be the game. I think Sam would be honor bound to concede the game at that point.
Absolutely. I think that's an unwritten rule, right?
I think so. If your opponent normal summons a normal monster, like at least
except for
versus
Lokai.
Rika, then you are not really able to win the duel anymore.
Okay, so let's see.
Is that now our end field? Can't we do anything now? I mean, we can't do the cool part about, yes, I think we're going into end phase, right? Yep, Magna Mood effect results. That signals that we are in end phase indeed. And yes, in the standby phase, we're going to get back the Phoenix Enforcer. But is it going to be enough to prevent the big push by Sam?
We're not going to get back that Phoenix Enforcer because we've got a Bestial in hand as well.
Oh, true.
Oh, wow.
There's now Siren here. So, I mean, we do get back something else, in that case, the Denier. But Denier is pretty far away from being interruption, to be honest.
It's not really denying anything right here, right?
Nope.
I mean, Sam could also get back the. Oh, he can't quite get it back, but you can. Can you bring back your opponent's monsters with this parter? I'm not sure.
Good question, actually. But I think it has to be your own. But I will double check for you. Bestial Parter says you can target one banished light or dark monster. It doesn't necessarily say you're banished, but I think it still ends up being the case that you have to use your own now.
So Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon is being searched.
Isn't that's a second? Wait. Okay.
He shuffled it back with the Chaos Space.
I see.
Or maybe it was the regained. It has to be the
Probably
regained.
with the regain, because we did put the White Dragon under our deck last turn, but the regained also was able to put something back, and it was the Red Ice Darkness Metal Dragon. And there's Dark now on the field. And even though this deck is all dragons, it still plays one of the most powerful way to finish duels very quickly, and that's going to be the Access Code Talker, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see that one coming down here.
Where is good old Boral Sword Dragon?
Yep, he got replaced by Borderland and Access Code. The duo is just too powerful.
So,
imagine telling someone when Boral Sword was released that it was just going to get upgraded.
yeah, the card looked crazy back then. I remember people playing Ibli not to give it to their opponents, but to go for a crazy combo that just summons out Boral Sword.
But let's not forget there's still Levianir in the hand, and he's just summoning it here. Probably going to banish Lights and Darks to just destroy 2 cards on the opponent's side of the field.
How good are Bestials? It's just mind-blowing to me. The Dragon deck has been a bit absent. Oh, is he going for 3 lights?
That's one. That's all lights indeed. We are not even going to destroy. I mean, if we plan on going for access code.
Oh, here we go.
We can just get back the ball, and that's going to be good enough to seal the deal here. Game number 1 goes to Sam Pearson in his Dragon Link Bestial deck.
That didn't work.
That's
because you have to
impressive.
summon the monster in defense position.
Oh.
Yeah, that's well.
Oops.
To be fair, there was no way he wasn't going to OTK this time.
Yeah.
He just wanted to style.
Yeah. Doesn't really work that way, but there was no way that wasn't an access code talker plus something. I mean, that even was it on the field.
Yeah, but still, I mean, yep, that Garura and Cross Crusader thing happened. That wasn't really supposed to happen, but I was really impressed by how far he would have gotten.
But that makes me think, is Super Polymerization with some outs for the opposing fields really the right choice in the deck? Because every time I saw Hero play, they relied heavily on the Cross Crusader.
For sure, it's one of the... It's like every single hero line at some point goes into Cross Crusader. I gotta agree with you. That definitely feels like it. But let's see what kind of cool stuff can now happen going first for the hero deck. And I early on already said there is a card that is somewhat comparable to the Gimmick Puppet, and it's of course the Destiny hero Dark Angel. And Dark Angel is a little different because it doesn't interact with monsters, but rather with spell cards. And you can special summon itself when you have like 3 different Destiny hero monsters in your graveyard, I think, or like Dark heroes, but yeah, doesn't matter. But it will be special summoned, but not to your own side of the field, but rather to the opponent's side of the field. And yeah, it's a problem because when you control these cards, you're going to negate all of your own spell cards.
But it's not quite as strong as the Gimmick Puppet, right? Because Gimmick Puppet, the effect lasts a turn, regardless whether you get rid of it. Here, you could just do the classic tribute summon for a Bestial, or, you know.
Depends on the matchup, though, I want to say. Because, for example, the Gimmick Puppet versus all the Runic decks does not even really feel that strong because they have all the spell cards to work with. But if you give that kind of a Runic Lifetime Sprite deck the Dark Angel, what are they going to do?
No, I agree. But in this particular matchup, it's not. It doesn't feel all that to me. But I guess we'll.
To be fair, I've
we'll
never
see.
seen a Runic Live Twin Sprite player happy with a gimmick puppet on their field.
True. I gotta say that is true. But I mean,
like a
Stefan is not only relying on that card. He has more cards to bring in from his side deck. I see Rivalry of Warlords. Is that so good versus a Dragonlink deck?
No.
I don't really know. There are a lot of dragons.
I don't think so.
Clues in the
Let's
name,
see.
yeah.
But something pretty generic also finding its way into the main deck most likely. Solemn Judgment. Did we see the old man altogether this
No.
weekend already? We have not seen him yet, right? He has
have
not.
Absolutely not. And it will absolutely negate some cards here.
Yeah.
Were you doing your impression of Solemn Judgment? You just said no. Like
Yeah.
that was you doing an impression of Solemn Judgment.
Yes,
I think
that's Solemn
I
Strike.
actually
by the
thought
way.
that was more of a solemn warning to me.
I think it was actually
I'll
his
practice.
best impression of the weekend so far.
If
So.
you keep doing this, we're going to give you a solemn scolding.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see what kind
love
of board-breaking stuff Sam Pearson is going to bring in here, because there's, of course, also a side deck on his side.
Really?
And therefore, I can tell you there is Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, generic cards. Seems okay versus Hero, to be honest, if you know when to use it. And then on top of that, there's going to be Kurikara Divincanate, and I kind of like that versus Heroes, to be honest.
Do you think Sam knows what to side against here? I mean, it's tricky. You'd have to think this on the fly, really, because probably there's a plan for things.
Yeah,
and
you
that
don't
plan does
really
not
have that plan
involve
for heroes. Maybe you just have like a plan for rogue decks. You're like, I know what to do versus all of that, and if it's rogue, I'll just do this.
I'll just find something. But what does Divincarnate do against Heroes? Because I frankly don't even know what the end field of Heroes is going to be.
I mean,
DPE is going to remove itself.
I think it's a pretty good answer to Darklaw, because Darklaw will usually try to banish one card out of their hand, and when they are doing that, you enable yourself the Divincanate.
Imagine
So
it hits the Divincarnate.
that would be pretty hilarious for sure. But who knows? But those questions are going to be answered. How does that end field look of a hero player? Stefan Jelic might be able to present us here with our second game of the round 6 featured match.
All right. We're going in for the game 2 of round number 6. Hero is probably going to start. I can imagine that the deck is not too happy about playing versus a lot of Bestials.
That's true. It must be somewhat of an issue. But there's Fusion Destiny, so let's start things off with that. I think that would have been one of the cards that I would have liked to use Ash Blossom on if I have that card in my opening hand. So it seems like Sam Pearson did not open up that powerful card.
I was thinking exactly that when you said, when's the best moment? I thought, I know the best moment.
Yep.
We all probably do.
Now we have Denier and Malicious in the graveyard, and we can remember that this is the craziest combo ever. Banishing a Malicious to special summon out one, then using Denier to put back the Malicious.
I mean, that is always immediate access to the card we were just seeing in game 1 that caused some problems for Cross Crusader, right? Because
No. Okay, if you link away the DPE.
I
the
mean, you're
Phoenix
probably
Enforcer.
not going to do
Yeah.
that.
Do we think Sam's... He was motioning like he was going to put a card on the table, so maybe that's a Bestial about to banish that Denier and just giving it a quick read.
Ooh, nope, not yet at least. But I mean, the Denier does activate in the graveyard, right? So you could always just wait for this. Yep, there's the Denier
Wow.
effect, and he has the most powerful Bestial. But there's Ghost Spell to
that is
respond to
strong.
it, and there's another Bestial in the threat.
And actually, it is much better for Sam. Did he think about that? Because it's much better to have the Serenity on the field here, because there is the Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer that might try to get rid of the monster that was just summoned. And if you get rid of the Serenity, there's going to be follow-up in the graveyard immediately.
That is indeed very true. So Stefan kind of wasted his Ghost Spell here. He couldn't know, but in the end, that's pretty rough for him, because that Bestial Magnamut is going to stay in hand. And we are using the mask change here. It seems like he wants to chain the Phoenix Enforcer.
Yeah, pop the mask change makes sense.
But why does
Yeah,
the Siren get banished here?
I don't know that.
Okay. We figured it out.
But it
And-
doesn't... Yeah, you still have to banish whatever would be sent
Yeah.
here.
And the cool thing is, Stefan so far summoning all of his cards in defense positions. So I kind of think that might indicate the Dark Angel coming down here, because you don't want to give your opponent any monsters to crash into. So maybe it's coming.
I was already getting up Lightning Storm for the card highlight, which is also a card you might play around.
True.
Aha! See, there is no Dark Angel.
No Dark Angel, but a sad card. So maybe Solemn Judgment is going to be sad there. So, Sam Pearson starting off with the card we already know, and it is Magna Mood. And honestly, this card is just such an easy answer to the Dark Law on the field there.
That is just also so nasty. And we have the quick launch as well. Let's see how much we can work under the Dark Law effect here.
I think Dark Law just being reminded quite firmly by Magnamut that it is 2023. And, you know, hello.
For sure.
You are not a Rise Heart.
This is so scary now because we have a level 4 tuner and a level 6 non-tuner on the field. So we would have immediate access to Baron here, which could take care of the Phoenix Enforcer and the Dark Lord, and therefore we have to respond with the Phoenix Enforcer destroying the Rocket Tracer. But there's another Bestial coming down, Bestial Baldrake. Those Bestials play so well into opponents' fields.
Now you just attack. now you just attack. And even if Stefan, he had one trap card, even if that is Solemn Judgment, it really doesn't matter against Bestials. Is he running a Beatrice, or is he maybe running Atom? Many players have decided to play the Heretic Dragon.
There is the Heretic Dragon, King of Atom. So if he likes, he could summon out the only real Exceed monster out of his extra deck. There's also Zeus, but Zeus is only there because Atom is there, so I don't think...
Is he also playing Gaia Thunder Charger?
No, he's not.
Alright, I like that.
Zeus is also great with Triple Tactics talent.
Oh, true, yeah. There are ways to use your opponent's Exceed monsters for sure.
I love how Sky Striker players are playing Zeus just because they would ranker everything.
Oh, and there's Magna Mood now. Oh, okay. Well, we had all the Bestials. We also had the Bestial Lubelia, which just grabbed us another copy of that Magna Mood. We're summoning out the Autumn, and Autumn is going to use its effect to summon out another dragon.
It's going to special summon out any dragon here. That is
Atom is not even the oldest dragon. I mean, it is really brings me back, but I don't think it is the oldest. I think the Red Eyes is probably the oldest, right? Or maybe it's, yeah. Very old school card, though.
And as we did in game number 1, we are going to grab out the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon and also the Boot Sector launch here.
I love this game, and look at how many old cards we are incorporating in this crazy cool combo deck.
For sure, I love it.
Striker Dragon banished for the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Now Sam is just playing with Stefan at this point, right? He is going to summon back the Black Metal Dragon, the little one, and probably summoning the Lubellion now to get rid of the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon again.
And of course, we are still having the Branded Regained in our deck, and that is a card we are just immediately going to activate. So much advantage here going for Sam. I think that is a super, super favorable position for him here already.
Yeah, when you clear your opponent's initial field just so cleanly with a couple of Bestials, it feels very good. It feels like a very unfortunate matchup for Stefan here, having his Destiny Heroes banished with Bestials and then just attack straight over his Dark Law.
But that is something that I thought about for this tournament. We're going to Romulus, we're going big combo now as well. The thing is, this tournament with Rogue, we haven't really seen it performing on stream so far. There are so many incredibly strong decks that you can't prepare for all of them. Usually Rogue is really, really strong when you have one big deck. Exorcister was good versus Tearlaments and so on. But right now we have so many different types of decks that are crazy strong that decks like Hero might suffer in some matchups.
It's tough to prepare, that's for sure, yeah. So I think the Hero deck that Stefan brought has a pretty decent matchup versus Runic decks because that Dark Angel is pretty good into that matchup. But now this specific Dragon Link deck that Sam Pearson brought into the tournament, it is pretty tough.
Do we think we're even going to see the full Guard Dragon combo that Sam performed in the last game? It does look that way, doesn't it?
Yep, we are going for Pistia right away, and I think we could now go for the Link Free that gives us a zone to special summon into, and of course is going to be the Triple Burst Dragon there.
Triple Burst is a cool sounding card, and then, I mean, I feel like if somebody told Triple Burst Dragon that what he was used for was a downward arrow, he'd be very upset, you know? He's like, look at me, I'm a super powerful Link 3, and he's just like, you're just a down arrow
so
to me.
Strong. We use Cypher to discard the Lubellion. For a second, I was like, are you going to use the Lubellion effect for a second time? But no, he just used it to be discarded for Cypher to grab Livianir from your deck.
Man, the old school cherry on top, take a card from your opponent's hand with
the last
Livianir.
Which is the only one,
And you have the Cyphered for a follow-up as well in the next turn as well. You can also Branded Regent. You're getting a draw again, and after you link away the Levianeer and the Cyphered, you're going to be there again with Levianeer next turn, and now you can just do the same play. Summon Borderland next to the Pisty, negate the Pisty, summon something back, and then go for the seal in the extra monster zone. That's absolutely insane. Sam Pearson showing players how it's done.
Yep, really massive stuff here from Sam. I really like it. Honestly, do you guys think maybe that Bestial Dragon Link deck is a top contender for this weekend?
Yes.
Dragon Link is
right?
very pleasing to watch for me.
Yeah.
I love watching Dragon Link. It's so cool.
This time we do go for the good old Borderland in the extra monster zone, negating the Cyphered, but still deciding on what to spec.
I think he's messed up a little bit here. I don't think there's a Tracer in Graveyard this time, which is why he didn't use the Borderland.
Right.
I think he did point towards the Cypher to negate it, but he just did not special summon something.
Yeah, I think that's because he just didn't have a Tracer in his grave. I think you can't use it unless there is a rocket, and he shuffled back the Recharger, and I don't think the Tracer ever found its way into the graveyard.
Should have gone for my line.
So, back over to Stefan, drawing for turn. What are the cards that he can find here to get back into this game? Asking for something in standby phase.
I think this is definitely an Elemental Hero Bubble Man moment, if ever there was one.
Yes, absolutely. But I think he has a trap card set, which might be... I mean, at some point you would have used Solemn Judgment at like a Borderland Dragon or something, right?
Yeah. Probably. Oh, Stefan is waving his hands. Is that a goodbye wave here for the featured match? It is indeed. Stefan concedes game number 2, and Sam Pearson takes it 2-0, and is still going very strong here in the European World Championship qualifier, now being 6-0.
I love Dragon Link.
Is that what we all agree? I love Dragon. We're all seeing the super cool hero deck, and our opinion is we love dragons.
I must admit, you know, back when the deck was crazy, I think in 2020, I wasn't the biggest fan. We had this crazy combo, and that was super powerful, but I was always getting confused with the combos, you know? But this time, I love Bestials so much. They're just so good. They're interruptions, they're extenders. It's so much fun to watch. It's really pleasing to watch.
Absolutely. And also, like,
I love
back in the day, back in 2020, the deck was way more popular. It was basically everywhere.
Yeah.
And now it's a little more niche. Not that many people are piloting it. Of course, it has some trouble versus Kashtira, but it seems like Sam is still doing pretty well into the field. And therefore, I do believe it might even be one of the 3 or 4 best decks in the tournament.
It's definitely up there for me. It's one thing I would say is, like, if it wasn't for Kashtira, I feel like Dragon Link would almost be the best deck, because the Bestials are so powerful into a lot of decks, and getting to include them as a part of your engine is amazing.
Seems pretty decent to me as well. So what do we think about Stefan and his hero deck? Because he had an undefeated run so far as well, so he's definitely not to be disregarded. But was it just some really favorable matchups until there? Because we know, yes, this deck plays a bunch of Bestials, but in the format in general, there's also a lot of Bestials, and as we saw, he kind of struggles versus those, to be honest. So I think he just has to hope to not face any more Bestial decks, to be fair.
I mean, I think in almost every deck list that we have seen so far, there were Bestials in the side deck. Sometimes we even see those in Kashtiras. Not usually, but sometimes, occasionally, it happens because they are just so powerful. I have seen Floowandereeze players just run DD Crow this tournament.
Well, DD Crow, yeah, you run it so you can search it with the Robina, right?
Yeah, and of course, because you can use the banish effect for a hand interaction.
Of course,
without summoning something, because that would ruin your Floowandereeze game plan. But it's still, like, banishing from the graveyard as a quick effect is the most important thing sometimes, this format. I mean, Kashtira says otherwise. But still,
banishing in general is a pretty good
thing.
Let's ask Sam Pearson what he thinks about banishing cards from the graveyard, because he's playing so many Bestials. Ad and Sam, take it away.
Thank you very much, Basti. Yes, I am joined by Sam, who's just won the round 6 feature match here at the EU WCQ. Sam, how are you feeling?
Pretty good. I mean, you know, going 6-0 is decent. Just keep winning, innit?
That's the way of thinking about it. Every tournament, just keep winning, innit? Probably the way of going. So, talk to us a bit about your deck. I was just asking you before we came on. It's basically Dragon Link and some Bestials. Why?
So, Dragon Link's just always been a silly deck. I mean, Dragons have historically gotten so much additional support, and Bestials, against everything that isn't really Kashtira, has very, very good applicability into most meta matchups, and it's just a very, very good deck.
So going up against heroes, what are your thoughts when you initially start seeing those cards?
Well, all of the decent hero cards are dark, so I was almost licking my lips. I did feel a bit, yeah, but it's a relatively. The guy even said it's like his probably worst matchup, so it's just a bit bad for him, isn't it?
I suppose. But then let's go through some of the things that happened. So managed to get rid of Dark Law, which meant you could still play with it was Bestial Dispatter, the synchro, right? So talk to us about that.
So Dispatter doesn't really care about the Dark Law so much, but it stops me being able to use Lebellion, really link climbing and doing a lot of the stuff I would really like to be able to do without losing resources to the banished. So Dark Law is kind of one of those priorities. But DP is just as a card very annoying while it's still actually a non-build. So it's just a case of you need to clear it and then you can start actually playing.
Absolutely. And then, which game too, talking about that, DPE was out. And that you managed it, was it off, it was Baldrake that you managed to use, that you baited the effect out and then you banished it from the grave.
So I used 2 Bestials on his turn to prevent him, going through link climbs, doing hero stuff. But then I drew 3 different Bestial names plus Lebellion, which was, one of the better hands I could ask for in terms of, non-engine into this deck. So yeah, I just had, an additional Bestial name to clear the DP once he actually used it. I had the one on board from last turn, which he, was going to use to DP to pop, and then just banished the DP when he uses it.
Fantastic. And here you go, winning 6-0. So how do you feel going forward? Do you reckon you're over halfway now? Do you reckon you could take it all the way?
Well, I mean, look, I'm not quite Marcus or Marcello. I mean, they go winless, but we'll see in it. I mean, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Anything can happen. I could just brick 2 games in a row and that's it. But
well, hopefully. And then there's quite kind of a question I asked to everyone about the decks that they're afraid of going up against in the Swiss rounds. Like you said, the heroes for you was like kind of easy. For him, it's a nightmare. But what's a nightmare for you?
I absolutely hate playing against Kashtira. I mean, all of their stuff banishes, and a lot of my cards innately require sending to graveyard for cost, which a Rise Art just completely knocks off. On top of that, it's just, it does a lot of very little. And none of my cards really interact with their deck, so you just kind of have to plug it with non-engine and hope the opponent misplays, or, yeah.
Well, it's quite a common deck at the moment, so I don't know, fingers crossed you get the luck of the draw. And that I mean, most people have said Labyrinth. A lot of people are really afraid of Labyrinth. How do you handle Labyrinth?
I mean, I lost to a Labyrinth yesterday, but it was more skill drain than Labyrinth itself that sort of won that game. I played 2 Cash already today, but I think they bricked a little. It was a bit unfortunate for them, but I'm not going to say no to that, am I?
Sure, fair enough.
But yeah, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'd imagine I'll play against a lot of Cash and Runic Live Twin up until the end of the day, but we'll see in it.
We'll see. Well, congratulations again. 6-0 is very good, and we hope it continues on this luck streak for you throughout all the Swiss matches. Guys, don't go anywhere, because we have the feature match round 7 coming up, and also some more content from that WQP stuff. Don't go anywhere.